use doll secrets to detect. It's the name you trust, the doll detective.
Welcome to the shadowed corners of the doll world, where every curve tells a story, every whisper hides a secret, and every companion's more than just fabric and form. I'm Mutt, the doll detective. Tonight's case, HyLoveDoll, the artisan stitching comfort into companionship. Tonight we pull back the velvet curtain with an exclusive sit-down with the minds behind HyLoveDoll, a brand born from curiosity, crafted with care, and redefining what companionship means in modern times. From lightweight innovation to emotional resonance, they're not just making dolls, they're creating connections. So hold tight, because this story's about to get real. Welcome to the Interrogation Room, Mr. Needful.
Thanks for having me, Detective.
So let's rewind to the beginning. Every good story has a spark. How did HyLoveDolls get started? Was it luck, curiosity, or a calling that pulled you into the doll world?
Well, Detective, it actually started kind of unexpectedly. I wasn't really familiar with adult products at first. One day I just thought, why not give it a try? So I bought a simple toy, a male masturbator. And honestly, the quality wasn't bad. The experience was surprisingly good. That made me realize, hey, maybe this market actually has some potential. Then I went on to try a silicone doll and later a silicone hip toy. But they were so heavy and not easy to use, definitely not easy to clean. That's when I started thinking, what if we could make something lighter and easier to handle? At first, I tried using sponge materials, but they turned out to be too fragile and tended to get moldy. So I experimented with all kinds of materials and structures. Back then, I didn't even know there were already some people working on lightweight designs. We just started from zero. Our current doll model is completely self-developed. We didn't copy anyone else's design, we just built it from scratch based on what we thought would work best.
That's fascinating. You started from pure curiosity and ended up innovating from scratch. I think that's something collectors really relate to. We've all had that one what-if moment that changes how we see the industry. Your company name has that soft, poetic feel. What inspired the creation and meaning behind HyLoveDoll?
So the name actually comes from a Chinese word, Hongyan, which means a beautiful woman, or literally a beauty. It's a very familiar and common word in Chinese culture, something people instantly recognize. When we were creating the brand, we wanted a name that felt warm, elegant, and easy to remember, something that people in China could instantly connect with. That's why we chose a name that's simple, meaningful, and has that sense of charm behind it.
I really like that. It's elegant but grounded. A name that feels both classic and current. It gives your brand that emotional connection that doll enthusiasts gravitate towards. Mr. Needful, you've talked about innovation before, but every brand claims to be different. What truly sets HyLoveDoll apart from everyone else in the industry right now?
I think the first and biggest difference is the weight, Detective. Our dolls are super lightweight. That might sound simple, but it really changes the whole experience. When we started, we didn't design the doll just for companionship. We focused more on creating something that people could actually use comfortably. With traditional silicone dolls, the weight can be a huge problem. They're so heavy that most people get tired quickly, and that really affects the experience. So we wanted to solve that first. The second big thing is how easy it is to clean. That's a huge factor for users. And with our fabric dolls, cleaning is quick and simple. And third, durability and repairability. Since the body is made of fabric, even if something gets damaged, it's easy to fix. You can literally just sew it up. It's also more affordable compared to silicone models. Another thing that makes our dolls special, Detective, is their dual purpose. They're not only adult toys, but also great as body pillows. You can actually cuddle them at night, and they feel very natural in your arms. The shape is close to a real human body, so you naturally get that sense of warmth and comfort. Also, our dolls are designed in a full 1-to-1 human scale, slightly larger than many silicone dolls. which makes the body proportions more realistic. And one last feature that many users love, the interchangeable parts. You can change the internal sleeve or choose the texture you like best. With most silicone dolls, you're stuck with whatever design comes with the body, but with ours, you can customize your experience freely. So overall, HyLoveDolls are lighter, easier to use, easier to clean, more flexible, and more comfortable, both physically and emotionally.
That focus on usability and comfort really stands out. Most people outside the community don't realize the little details. The weight, the cleaning, can completely change the experience. You've clearly designed your dolls with real users in mind. HyLoveDolls girls seem to embody warmth and gentleness, not just in form, but spirit. How does companionship and emotional support fit into your brand's core values?
That's a really good question, Detective. I think companionship, in its true form, shouldn't be something that drains you. It should be something that brings you comfort and peace. With traditional silicone dolls, they're often very heavy, hard to move, and quite difficult to maintain. So in a way, you end up spending a lot of time and energy taking care of something that you can't even interact with easily. That's not the kind of companionship we wanted to create. Our fabric dolls are completely different. They're soft, warm, and easy to be around. You can hold them, cuddle them, or just have them beside you. And they don't require constant maintenance or effort. To us, a true companion should fit naturally into your life. You can keep it on your bed, on your couch, or even share intimate moments without feeling like it's a chore. Especially in winter when everything feels a bit colder, that warmth and softness can make a big emotional difference, Detective. So at the core of our brand, we believe that companionship should feel light, physically and emotionally. It should add to your life, not take energy away from it. That's really what we want people to feel through our dolls.
Beautifully said. That lightness, both physical and emotional, is something collectors really connect with. You're not just selling a product, you're reshaping how people define comfort in companionship. Let's talk creation. What kind of dolls does HyLoveDoll offer right now? And are there any standout favorites your fans keep coming back for?
Right now, our main focus is on life-sized, one-to-one scale fabric dolls. The overall look is quite simple and natural. We try to keep the design close to real human proportions, with a soft skin tone color that feels familiar and warm, not exaggerated or flashy. At this stage, we're still an independent, creator-driven brand, so each doll takes a lot of time and effort to design and refine. Unlike large industries where everything is standardized, this field doesn't have that kind of established ecosystem yet. There aren't many factories or suppliers specialized in making these products. So a lot of the process involves hands-on work, creating the models, testing materials, adjusting proportions, all manually. Because of that, our philosophy isn't really about chasing one single bestseller or signature model. We believe the industry is still young, and it grows stronger when more people get involved and bring their own ideas. So instead of focusing only on one popular style, we prefer to co-create with our community, listen to feedback, experiment with new shapes, and let users take part in the creative process. We think that's a healthier and more sustainable way to grow, not just for our brand, but for the entire lightweight doll industry.
I respect that collaborative spirit, letting the community shape the designs. That partnership between maker and collector is where innovation really happens in this space. I am a fan of yours and follow you on YouTube, Instagram, and Discord. I recommend our listeners do the same if you need a snuggle buddy. You've mentioned experimenting with materials and textures. How do you choose what feels right when designing these dolls?
That's a great question, Detective. When it comes to materials, we always start with what feels most natural and comfortable against the skin. Softness and safety are our top priorities. We want the dolls to feel warm, gentle, and suitable for different situations, whether it's for intimacy, companionship, or simple comfort. Right now, we mainly use high-quality fabric because it's lightweight, breathable, and easy to care for. but we're also open to exploring new materials in the future if they can bring a better experience. As for features, we design from a very human-centered perspective. We start with simple, realistic functions, the kind of experience that feels natural. But if users have specific or creative requests, we can also customize certain features. When it comes to realism, we actually take a balanced approach. Our goal isn't to make the doll look too real, because sometimes when something becomes almost perfectly lifelike, it can actually make people uncomfortable. Like that uncanny valley effect. We believe a good design should leave room for imagination. That's one reason why younger users often prefer stylized or anime-inspired aesthetics. It's not about copying reality, it's about creating emotional connection and freedom of imagination. So for us, quality means comfort, safety, and emotional connection, not just how realistic it looks. We want our dolls to feel alive in spirit, not just in appearance.
I appreciate how you balance realism with imagination. In the doll world, sometimes it's not about perfect accuracy. It's about emotional resonance, that feeling of soft connection that pulls you in. And yes, the uncanny valley is a phenomenon we are seeing in robotics and AI also. When you think about your typical user, who comes to mind? Is there a certain story or profile that best represents your audience?
That's an interesting question. I'd say instead of defining our customers by who they are, it's more accurate to describe what they need. Most of them are looking for something lightweight, easy to clean, and practical to use. They don't want something that takes a lot of effort to move or maintain. They want something that feels comfortable, has good flexibility and rebound, and that won't break easily even with frequent use. Another big thing is convenience. They really appreciate that the lower parts can be detached and replaced. It makes the whole experience much more hygienic and customizable. In terms of demographics, many of our users are working adults, often people in their 30s or older. Some live away from their families for work, some are divorced or single, people who live independently and value both practicality and emotional comfort. What they're really looking for is something realistic enough to feel familiar, but also easy to manage. A kind of release or companionship that doesn't take too much of their time or energy.
Mr. Needful, that range makes total sense. I've seen it too. People craving that perfect middle ground between usability and emotional connection. It's a very human need, not just a product choice. You must hear some incredible stories from customers. Has there been one that really stuck with you?
Yes, actually, there are quite a few touching stories. But there's one I'll never forget. One of our customers left a long comment under our product page. He said he had always been a bit socially anxious and found it difficult to connect with women. Over the years, he had tried different kinds of dolls, silicone ones, inflatable ones, but they were either too expensive or too tiring to maintain. Then he tried one of our fabric dolls, and he said it completely changed his experience. He spent hours carefully filling and shaping it himself, and when it was done, he said the proportions were almost perfectly lifelike, just what he'd always wanted. He told us he's been sleeping with the doll every night, and for the first time in a long time, he doesn't feel lonely anymore. In his words, "She never argues with me, never makes me angry. She just quietly stays by my side." He even wrote that thanks to this doll, his life feels brighter and more hopeful, and he wants to share it with other people who might also feel lonely. That kind of message really moved me, because it reminded me that what we're doing isn't just about creating a product, it's about offering a form of emotional comfort to people who really need it.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing it. Those stories show how much impact a doll can have beyond the physical. It's why creators like you are so respected in the community. Transparency is rare in this space. How do you approach being open about your products and build trust with your audience?
We believe transparency starts with being real and direct about what our products can do. Since most of our business happens online, customers can't touch or feel the products before buying, so we focus on showing everything as clearly as possible through photos and videos. Instead of using exaggerated marketing or over-promising results, we prefer to let the product speak for itself. We want customers to know exactly what they're getting and how it works in real life. This builds real trust, which we value much more than short-term sales numbers. We see honesty as a long-term investment. When people realize that what they see is truly what they get, communication becomes much smoother, and relationships last longer. Right now, we're still quite new to the international market, so we're actively learning from feedback and adjusting our approach. Our main focus is still on improving the product itself, making it better, simpler to use, and easier to maintain. Because in the end, that's what transparency is all about, letting quality speak for itself.
That authenticity is exactly what today's buyers are looking for. People follow creators and brands they trust, and that honesty is why your reputation keeps growing internationally. I'm happy to expose you to my listeners so they can see the value in your creativity and the legacy you're creating. Trends come and go faster than neon fading in the rain. But what's got you most excited right now in design or technology for adult dolls?
Honestly, what excites me the most is the feedback we get from the market. The world is incredibly diverse, and diversity drives deeper experiences. Our users are essentially seeking variety. But in the past, slow product updates made experiences and preferences feel fixed. That sometimes caused both supply and demand to shrink. I've realized that there's no real chicken or egg problem in this industry. Supply and demand are really one and the same. In Asia, this dynamic is more obvious, but moving into the European and American markets was really exciting. There, people have all kinds of preferences, which gives designers much more freedom to experiment with new styles. That's what a healthy market looks like. For us, trends or technologies themselves aren't the most important. They keep repeating, and tech keeps evolving. What really matters is change itself, making sure our products can be deeply experienced and that they suit people naturally, like how the seasons change. You wouldn't wear a thick winter coat in the summer. Products need to match the context of use. What excites me is being in a market where this kind of natural diversity exists. It also helps avoid the trap of copycat products, which is one of the fastest ways an industry can stagnate. Looking ahead, our upcoming products are designed around this understanding of the market. The focus is on softness, comfort, ease of use, companionship, low maintenance, and experiences that meet or even exceed user expectations.
I admire that philosophy, focusing on change itself. The idea of matching products to natural rhythms and real lives feels very forward-thinking, especially in an industry often chasing tech for tech's sake. You've built a reputation not just as a maker, but as a collaborator. How do you see your role in the wider doll collector and companion community?
When we entered this industry, Detective, our main focus was on what we can actually contribute. It's not about being inspired by others, it's about the actions we take. For us, that means creating products that reduce the energy and effort our users have to spend. People have their own lives and responsibilities. Their interaction with a doll shouldn't become a burden. That's why we place a lot of importance on cost effectiveness and practicality. Our second focus is on fulfilling real needs. Traditional doll making often emphasizes material quality or technical complexity, but design itself is rarely a priority. Since fabric dolls are inherently more affordable, we aim to make design the core of our innovation, creating products that are not only practical, but also provide a satisfying experience comparable to, or even better than, traditional dolls. We also believe that the closer the gap between producer and consumer, the healthier the industry becomes. Many enthusiasts have design ideas, or even the skills to participate in making dolls themselves. We want to encourage that involvement, because when consumers understand the industry deeply, it drives positive competition and innovation. Ultimately, our goal is for the industry to reach a kind of mutual understanding between producers and users. Consumers know what they want, and producers can deliver it efficiently. Achieving this requires openness, sharing of techniques, and collaboration, similar to open source practices in tech. The more information and experience we can share with the community, the more it strengthens everyone's ability to innovate and improve. In short, we see our role as both a creator and a facilitator, helping to make the industry more dynamic, participatory, and sustainable.
That's exactly how progress happens, through shared knowledge and collaboration. You're helping shift this community from niche to connected culture, and that's something to be proud of. If you could change one thing about the industry right now, what would it be?
Yes, definitely. I think one of the biggest challenges in the industry is that many companies tend to move toward monopoly, and that usually happens when there's a lack of communication and interaction with consumers. I strongly believe that sharing knowledge and techniques is key to a healthy and thriving market. Technical sharing doesn't weaken a business. It actually helps the whole industry grow and innovate. For example, on our website, many people ask how we make our dolls. We're always honest and open about the general direction and approach. Of course, some detailed techniques are best demonstrated in person, but we're happy to guide anyone who's serious about learning. Overall, what I hope to see is more openness and collaboration, more companies willing to share their methods, insights, and innovations. When knowledge is shared, more people can join the community, and the entire market becomes healthier, more creative, and more sustainable.
That's a great message. Transparency and openness are the future. It reminds me a lot of open source thinking. When everyone contributes, everyone wins. For anyone picking up their first HyLoveDoll, what advice would you give them on how to start their experience the right way?
Honestly, Detective, our dolls are designed primarily as a functional companion for cuddling, emotional support, and intimate use. They're not meant to be just visually impressive or decorative, because everyone's preferences and ways of interacting with the doll are different. We usually don't give strict how-to advice. The best approach is to explore and find what works for you, try new things, and see what feels right. What we really value is feedback from our users. Your experiences help us improve and refine our products. So if I were to give advice, it would be simple. Enjoy discovering your doll in your own way, and let us know what you think. Your feedback is the most important guidance we can get.
That openness is refreshing, giving people permission to explore at their own pace. That's how real confidence grows in this hobby. Okay, Mr. Needful, what about misconceptions? Any myths you'd like to clear up for the record?
I think one common misconception is that we only care about body shape or basic functionality and don't pay attention to appearance, color, or details. That's not true. It's just that as a young company, our resources have been limited, so our early focus was mainly on comfort, usability, and overall design. But we've already started shifting more attention to appearance, skin tone, and even more unique or special designs, like animal-inspired dolls or other niche requests. So I hope people understand that we're not only about functionality or shape, we're actively working on enhancing the look, feel, and variety of our dolls. Our goal is to create products that are beautiful, realistic, and enjoyable in every way.
Exactly. Evolution takes time, and your commitment to design improvement shows. Collectors pay attention when brands actually listen and evolve with feedback. Looking ahead, what's next for HyLoveDoll? Any exciting developments you can share with us?
Well, Detective, looking ahead, our plans are really guided by the market and user feedback. Since we're entering a new market, new opportunities and needs are emerging, and our goal is to respond to those. First, we want to offer more body types and expand customization options for appearance. This isn't just about one-to-one traditional client-vendor custom work. Instead, we prefer working with small groups of enthusiasts, say 5, 10, or 20 people with similar preferences. A designer can serve the entire group and in return get richer feedback and insights that help improve the product for everyone. Second, we plan to offer more skin options and other details to make dolls more realistic and enjoyable. Overall, our focus is on using feedback to guide design, expand customization in a meaningful way, and create products that really meet the needs of our community.
That group design approach is brilliant. It builds loyalty and community at the same time. It's the kind of modern, user-driven design that keeps a brand ahead of the curve. I am already falling in love with your company, based on how community-oriented and down-to-earth you are. And I get a kick out of your marketing. Before we wrap up, what message would you like to leave for your fans and listeners of the Interrogation Room?
I'm really excited to be part of this market and to connect with all of you. We hope to provide as much help and support as we can, and we truly appreciate all the suggestions and feedback you share with us. Your ideas and input aren't just welcome. They actually inspire us to keep improving and innovating in this industry. It might sound a bit formal, but honestly, this kind of engagement is really meaningful for our growth as a company and for the development of the community as a whole. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being part of this journey with us.
Ah, wonderful. It was a pleasure chatting with you, Mr. Needful. Thanks for joining me in the Interrogation Room and allowing me to share your story with the community.
Thanks for having me, Detective.
That's the heart of innovation. Passion guided by community. On behalf of collectors everywhere, I just want to say, thank you for continuing to give this industry both soul and structure. As our evidence wraps and the dust settles on tonight's case, one thing's clear. HyLoveDolls isn't just making dolls, they're reshaping a culture, one quiet revolution at a time. From the thoughtful design to the heartfelt stories, it's a reminder that in this world of shadows and light, companionship is a question of heart as much as craftsmanship. Thanks to our listeners for joining me in the Interrogation Room. Keep your eyes sharp, your mind sharper, and until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and keep those doll stories alive. Case closed.